Is there any like mission that you could discuss of like what you like active duty that you guys were on that you could explain like exactly what a SEAL might do for a typical mission that you guys would have to do, or is everything really shrouded in redact statements and secrecy? I'm not sure what you're allowed to talk about or not.
Well, the missions themselves aren't necessarily classified. Where you do them are
Might be.
usually,
Okay.
especially if it's to go and either grab or kill somebody of high value. They call them high value targets. Somebody that's like a Bin Laden type thing, or much much less. But there's a lot of people that are more valuable and more dangerous in kind of the middle management structure of most organizations that are more valuable to grab or more valuable to take out of the mix.
Right.
But most of the SEAL missions are reconnaissance and surveillance. Most of them are going and looking at places and being in position while they're looking at places to take advantage of a moment. Let's say you have some drug cartel leader and you send four guys in, and the guys go in and they're looking at this particular location in the middle of the jungle or on a mountaintop or something. And in drives three armored vehicles and out steps the guy. Unplanned. So then you call back and say, this is where he is. So depending on where you are, if it's a war zone, there might be an airstrike, or there might be, a smart missile, like a cruise missile or something might come in there and take out the bad guy.
Right.
Now, you could do the same thing if that was your job, was to go and confirm the guy was there. And then it's less of a reconnaissance surveillance mission and more of a direct action mission. So
Hmm.
the part that doesn't come across in movies and TV, besides the creativity of trying to come up with the solution to some of these crazy missions, is the reason you have to be so tough and the reason you have to be in shape is because you have to get through that environment to the target and away from that target back to some safe place. And that environment, when they send SEALs or Green Berets or SAS, whatever, that environment is not an easy environment. It's not a conventional environment. That's why it's unconventional warfare or special operations. The special part is either the uniqueness and complexity of the mission on target, or you've got to swim 6 miles in the ocean and then dive for an hour and a half on a rebreather to get to the target. Then you got to do something like that to get out. You have to climb a mountain. You have to climb multiple mountains. You have to walk through mountains for 5 days before you get to the target and then back out. You have to jump out of an airplane at 15,000 feet on oxygen. There's all these things you got to do to get to the target. So that whole distance from start to target and from target back to finish is swamps and jungles and cold oceans and cold and high mountains and deserts, and that's where the toughness comes from. That's if you were just dropped outside the front door by a helicopter and you just had to walk through the door and do it, you wouldn't have to do 100 push-ups. You wouldn't have to do any push-ups. None of that stuff would be required.
You just have a rebreather and know how to deploy your chute, and away you go. If that was the
Yeah, you
case.
don't even need that. They just be like FedEx or like Uber delivery. You just show up. You'd be warm and comfortable and well fed and well rested, and
have a cheeseburger in your hands.
You'd be there for 20 minutes to do the job, and you get back in the Uber or the helicopter, and that's it.
And how many of those missions did you do?
I did 36. I led 36. I was the guy in charge.
Wow.
And and it ran that same gambit. It was probably about, I'd say about 1/3 was reconnaissance surveillance. 1/3 was trying to confirm somebody was there, and then either we would deal with them or we were bringing somebody else in, a larger force, once we confirmed the person was there, the high value target.
Right.
And then 1/3 of them was looking for things, looking for objects, ammo dumps, certain kinds of weapon systems, that kind of thing. So, I mean, those missions can be skewed one way or the other depending on the bigger picture. If you're not at open war, then it's probably more on the surveillance, sneaky peeky stuff. If you're in a counterterrorism scenario, it might be more about trying to make sure that you can confirm somebody's there, and either you grab them or somebody else grabs them or takes them out. But when you're actually in a war zone, there's a lot more looking for weapon systems and ammunition dumps and things that the bad guys can use against the regular troops and the people. So you get used for a lot of that too.